Automotive enthusiasts are a passionate and opinionated bunch. Many of them loathe SUVs and crossovers, so the Ford Edge ST will either delight or repulse them because it's both about hauling cargo and hauling asphalt. Other Fords that wear this badge are warmly embraced by speed racers, but they're going away. Ford has famously announced it's eliminating nearly all cars from its lineup. Is this kind of vehicle the future of performance cars? It might be. While Ford is keeping the Mustang around, buyers are generally gravitating towards more practical vehicles, like SUVs and crossovers. It's not a blip in the market. So, for drivers that are brand loyal to the Blue Oval, either get used to vehicles like this, or hurry off to get a Fusion, Focus, or Fiesta while you still can. And keep in mind that if more people voted with their wallets, sedans wouldn't be disappearing, would they? Edge is built on the same architecture as Fusion, so think of this as a high-riding wagon. And yes, there is a Fusion wagon, but it isn't sold in the US, another body style shunned by Americans. But let's focus on the go-fast bits. This is a specially tuned 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6, in other words, turbocharged. It makes 335 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque if the tank is filled with premium fuel. Select Sport mode and the exhaust note growls accordingly in the cabin. The dual exhaust outlets are unique to the ST, as are side skirts that improve aerodynamics and a different fascia that optimizes cooling. All-wheel drive is standard on ST. The power is routed through an excellent 8-speed transmission that I'd normally say is smoother than a politician, but they seem to have lost that quality, don't you think? If you do things by the numbers, you'll know that the ST has more power than the outgoing Edge Sport, but the ST is heavier. It all kind of balances out. There's a little bit of throttle lag off the line. Power then builds progressively. 0 to 60 happens in just under 6 seconds. For a performance machine, ST's ride quality remains balanced. I drove it from Seattle to Portland, Oregon, and while there was some road noise, it was quiet enough. My wife never complained about harshness that can happen with low-profile tires, so your bestie probably won't either. This one is equipped with optional 21-inch wheels, plus summer rubber and performance brakes that are so good together. The Edge kept stopping further away than I wanted for this shot. There's also an automatic engine start-stop system that can be turned off. If you think this drives as frisky as, say, the Fiesta ST, nope. This is a much bigger vehicle and it rides higher. It drives, more mature. I highly prefer the Sport Drive mode. For one thing, it doesn't upshift as aggressively, and there's more engine braking. The suspension is specially tuned for less body roll and dive, though the folks at Ford Performance have left some in. The all-wheel drive power transfer unit is water-cooled for improved performance. A new algorithm seamlessly switches between front and all-wheel drive in 10 milliseconds. It can also send all power to either the front or rear wheels, depending on needs. Torque vectoring is brake-based. Steering weight is nice and hefty. I like it. There's also some road feel. You don't get that all the time with electric power steering. Thing is, though, with the Edge, you're up higher because it's a crossover. You don't get that cornering confidence that you would have in a lower slung sedan. From behind the wheel, Edge feels very wide. Some will like the airy atmosphere. Others prefer tidier packaging and dimensions. You know who you are. Wondering if this is a poor man's Cayenne, Stelvio, or SQ5? Not really. The Porsche, Alfa, and Audi feel more secure, slicing through curves at high speed, and the Edge ST isn't exactly for poor people. This fully optioned model retails for $52,300. The semi-autonomous driving technology in this car is called, and I am not kidding, the Ford Co-Pilot 360 Assist Plus. Okay, the marketing people get an F for that one, but the technology is very good. The adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist work very, very well. Hey, Ford marketing people, just so you know,
Honda has one word for it: sensing. Much easier to remember.
There's also evasive steering assist that helps drivers apply the right amount of steering to avoid a collision, something normally reserved for luxury brands. This Edge also has an autonomous parking system. The cabin isn't changed all that much. It has a solid look and vibe about it with a sporty ambiance reminiscent of Mustang. There's nothing plush like a cut-and-sewn instrument panel or real carbon fiber trim. I do like the seats that are well bolstered and upholstered with grippy fabric panels. They'll help you to keep your cool or toast your buns, whichever is wanted. Door releases are small but hefty feeling. If you're a believer in a place for everything and everything in its place, the Edge should satisfy your inner Marie Kondo. Small screens on either side of the speedometer can be reconfigured. The latest version of Ford's Sync 3 user interface is solid with good response and easy to understand flow. Plus, there's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There are enough hard buttons to make paging through the screens less of a thing, too.
I know what you're going to complain about.
The seats don't slide fore and aft.
You don't have enough room back there?
I have plenty of space back here. I'll admit that. It's roomy. But I like that feature, and back seats are my life. Sadly.
The backs do recline for long trips, seats are raised for good visibility and thigh support, and my size 11s can do the happy dance. No, the seats don't slide, but most everything else you'd want in a back seat is here, other than a separate climate zone. Seats are toasty, and many things can be charged and powered. Pay the monthly fee, and a high-speed internet hotspot will keep the kids busy if the panoramic roof doesn't entertain them, and it's wide enough in here to handle 3 average adults quite well. This is an option that's nice to have if you often find yourself with your hands full. Edge is strictly a 2-row crossover. The cargo hold is pretty large. Storage under the floor is not as generous as Honda's new Passport, but the load floor of the Ford seems lower. I'm not doing the TP trunk test because I've already done it with a standard Edge and it took on a dozen packs of the 2-ply, which is pretty roomy. And as you can see, the functionality of everything back here is top-notch, though I'd like to see 40-20-40 split seats. The closest competitors to the mid-sized Edge are the Nissan Murano and new Chevy Blazer, though neither offer a performance model like the ST yet. Honda's new Passport is positioned as more of a rugged crossover. Jeep has the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, but that's in a completely different league. And Subaru Outback is too much of a station wagon to be counted. Edge ST offers up chiseled good looks, performance, and solid practicality, but let's be clear, it doesn't handle like a sports sedan. There are physics involved. It rides on the high side, and at 4,600 pounds, it's no Miata. But none of the mainstream brands offer anything like the Edge ST right now. No doubt the competition has an eye on sales to see if buyers are snapping up this sporty mid-sized ute. True enthusiasts won't find this sharpened crossover to be the future of performance. They'll be glad Ford is keeping the Mustang GT around. There are few details right now, but Ford has teased a Mach 1 electric crossover that's supposed to debut in 2020. The video shows a Mustang and an Explorer driving into a garage, which is then struck by lightning. The results are not shown, but you can almost hear it's alive. I'm betting on an LA Auto Show reveal. I wonder if they'll keep the name. Kind of controversial. Finally, a story I can't support with video. I was shooting this shot, my last one with the ST, when a seriously black Dodge Durango pulled up. Turns out I was on U.S. government property in Seattle's Discovery Park, and it was the federal police. And quite frankly, they did not like the idea of me being there. They detained me for some 20 minutes while they did a background check. All I wanted was a woodsy backdrop and okay to steal government secrets for the Chinese. Kidding.
Well, there you go, folks. That's my look at the new Ford Edge ST. Hope you found this informative, at least mildly entertaining. It will be interesting to see if the industry responds with more performance SUVs. I can definitely see the new Chevy Blazer being the Camaro of crossovers. We'll see. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.